What if I told you that most German kids love spinach? Would you believe it? Well, it's true though. So why do kids and adults alike in Germany love spinach? Well, we have something that is called the spinach with a Blubb. It's basically an advertisement for a German company that sells frozen spinach, and they made it very tasteful, and we can actually make that from scratch. Now in this video we will explore how to make spinach really tasteful, how to avoid that odd feeling on the teeth that you can have sometimes when you eat spinach, and also whether or not you can reheat spinach. Before I start, I want you to know that the quantities for this recipe are on the blog in this post, and you can switch between the metric and the US customary system for measurements, and you can print the recipe. You will also find this link at the very end of this video. So for what we need, of course we need spinach, then we need some garlic, onion, some nutmeg, and you can of course also use the already ground nutmeg. Then you need a little bit of flour, heavy whipping cream, a bit of broth. So this is basically 4 teaspoons of granulated broth that I have dissolved in some water. Then you need salt and pepper, some butter. And the traditional way to serve this meal is with boiled potatoes and with fried eggs. So I first need to wash the spinach, and you can of course use the spinach that is already pre-washed and bagged. I kind of like the loose one, but it has an awful lot of stems, so I will remove some of them. You can leave them if you want, but I feel like this is a little more than I want from the stems. So I'm just cutting the ends here. Okay. So I've washed the spinach. It needed 3 times of washing. It was really dirty, although it looks very clean. So beware of that. You should really clean and wash your spinach if it's not pre-washed and pre-packaged. Although I still wash the pre-washed salads and spinach when I buy it. I just don't really trust that process. So that said, I want to explain what I'm going to do next. So I want to blanch the spinach, and for some people this is a completely new thing, so let me quickly explain what it means. I will boil some salt water and throw the spinach in for like half or 1 minute, and then I will remove it and immediately throw it into this bowl of ice water and cool it down very quickly. What does that do? So most people think this is just to keep the color. That is one reason to do it. It looks very nice and green after this process, while if you wouldn't do it, the color of the spinach would be a little more grayish when you finish your cooking. But this is just a part of the reason. So the main reasons for doing that are, first of all, it makes the spinach even healthier. The main reason though why I'm blanching the spinach is to remove the oxalic acid. The oxalic acid is the thing that makes your teeth feel really weird when you eat spinach, and that's what we hate all, and that's what I want to avoid, and that's really the main reason why I'm doing this. So I am currently bringing a large pot of salt water to a boil, and once it's boiling I will just throw the spinach in and let it there really only for half to 1 minute, and then put it into the bowl with the ice water. So this is finally boiling and I'm throwing in the spinach. I'm not sure if I will manage to get everything in one portion, probably not. Yeah, I have to do it in several portions. If you compare the color, you can already see that the spinach that is here in the hot water is turning into a really bright green. Looking at the clock. Okay, I take this out now. And I throw it here into the ice water. And I know some people really hate to waste things, and some of you might think about using the water that I'm having here for the spinach, but you can't use that again. So please discharge that. Yeah, so this is what I'm left with from all the spinach that you saw at the beginning. So it's always a surprise how little there's left once you've blanched it, but that's okay. I count about like one of these bundles per person. So this would be for 3 persons, and this will be enough. And I'm trying to remove some of the water here by just pressing it a little bit. Okay, I'll let this drain. And I'm preparing now the next step. So I will first have to prepare some onions. And by the way, I'm already boiling some potatoes over there. So I use half an onion. You can use more if you want, depending on the size of your onion, of course. And let me show you one of these wonderful pods that I have for leftover vegetables. So this will go into the fridge like that, and this will be for my recipe. Let me already heat the pot and throw in the butter. And I'm adding the onions. And I'm also adding some garlic. And yeah, it's basically optional, but for me it just belongs into this recipe. Let me lower the heat a bit. And the thing with garlic is don't fry it very long. So I'll just put it into the butter at the end of the frying time, because if you fry garlic too long, it tends to taste bitter, and that's not what we want in our spinach. We definitely want it to taste nice and creamy, not bitter. Okay, and then I'm just adding the garlic. Well, I can smell it. It smells so delicious. I really like garlic. I think I said that before. Okay, time to add the spinach. There we go. And now I'm adding the broth. It's just a tiny little bit. It's just for the taste. It's not that I want to make this into a soup, so it's not much. And then the cream. But we are not finished yet. So the next step is to use the immersion blender to make this into a very fine mass. So you want it to be really, really fine, just like this here. Let's show you how it's looking like. So it's like a mash. Okay, and of course I need to spice this with some salt, also with some pepper. And oh, this is boiling a little bit too much. Let me take this off for a moment. So, and now I take the flour and I will add a little bit of cold water, mix it, and then add it to the spinach. Okay, let's taste it. It needs a little more salt. And of course, I also need some of the nutmeg. And look at the color. Doesn't it look beautiful? This green is so vibrant and so delicious compared to the grayish kind of thing that you would get without the blanching. This is so good. This is like home. This is childhood. So this is a very typical German lunch meal, and every child knows it from their parents. It's regularly served. I would almost say weekly or bi-weekly, at least in my house. And it's one of the favorites of my kids. Yeah, it's true. They like spinach. Okay, I will fry the eggs now, and then I will show you how I serve this. This is how German moms serve this. Some make some mashed potatoes, but in my family we used to have just boiled salt potatoes. So, an egg on top. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So if you have a leftover, first of all, shame on your family. But if it really happens, now the question is, can you reheat it, yes or no? And the answer is yes, but you have to reheat it slowly. So you should not put it into the microwave at highest setting and reheat it in like 30 seconds. You have to reheat it slowly and carefully, just using like a lower temperature on the stove or a lower setting on the microwave. That's how you can reheat spinach safely. If you want to learn more about spinach and the whole thing about nitrate, and so on, I'm not running a chemistry channel here. I'm not nerd enough to explain it very well in English. So I will put a link in the blog post where you can learn more about this topic. I think they explain it very well on that page, and I leave that to the experts to explain this to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would really like it and appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, hit the bell button, subscribe, and I hope you're gonna watch my next video. Thank you for watching.